Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. Hello, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and I'm not in the center of this thing. Let's try that again. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. And Mark and I were talking, and look at this. This is all squirrels doing. That is not my fault. There we go. Hope everybody's doing well. Tell you what, man, the weather, this is, we've been doing the lifeboat a hot minute when I'm back in shorts, we started out this mission and I wore shorts in all of the videos, and then it got cold, and here we are back in the warmth in northern Nevada. We broke a bunch of records today. It was like 78 at one point here today, which even for the high desert is fairly extreme this time of year. But I'm happy about it. It's one more thing to be pleased about. Now, if I could just get the actual channel to pull up here, I'd be even happier. I don't know if all of you are having internet issues or if it's just the lifeboat, but apparently the sun is doing really funky things again. And if you're not up to snuff on that, you probably should go to Wages World occasionally and listen to an expert talk about it. But I can't see myself. Hopefully I will be able to catch the chat at some point. That's all good. But a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in space. But I love Wednesdays. I love doing the show with Niall. To me, that is it's a great time. It really is. And it's, obviously it's a whole lot easier when you do a show with somebody because there's less preparation and you can just sort of sit and talk. It's just a couple of guys talking about sobriety, or in our case, 3 guys talking about sobriety. But the beautiful thing is that pretty much without fail, it doesn't just get me out of coming up with stuff to talk about for the show. It gets me stuff to talk about for the following couple of shows, because usually there's enough material that gets brought up and discussed that it opens doors in the head, so to speak, of things that we could talk about. And on top of that, today was one of those days where I went back to my drug counseling for the federal government. And I'm sure you all remember that they had cut me back to like 1 a month. So it's been a long time since I went in there and sat down and talked with my counselor. And it was fun. We usually just talk sobriety anyway. And she brought up a lot of issues that, I wasn't going to share it with people on the boat, not because I'm holding out or anything of that nature, but I don't want people to feel like they got to emulate anything that we do ever. As we said last night, and we've said so many times before, everybody's journey is unique. And I have cut down. There, now I just popped up. My face is now there. So I have cut down on the amount of buprenorphine that I take every day. I may or may not have told you guys on the boat that, but I had been taking 8 milligrams a day. Tommy vanished. Next video. Okay. So I'm here now. I could see me. So we're good to go. So I cut down from 8 milligrams of buprenorphine to 4 milligrams of buprenorphine. And this has everybody involved, my doctor, my probation people, and sort of my sobriety team. Everybody has been, bringing up the subject matter because I guess it's somewhat logical that if you go from 8 to 4, the next logical step might be to just either go to 2 or maybe cut the stuff out altogether. And they brought that up, and I'll be honest with you, I'm terrified of the concept of cutting it out altogether. I made a lot of God deals over the years, and I think that a lot of addicts do that. The whole, oh God, get me out of this one kind of thing. Well, that usually was not the approach I took, but mine was more, what, if I could wake up in the morning and not crave that thing, not have it be the first thought every single time I wake up, there's not much I wouldn't do, and waking up and not wanting heroin was one of the real key driving forces in wanting to do the lifeboat in the first place. I wanted people to realize that you can wake up in the morning and not need that substance of choice. That was really one of the biggest motivators for me. And the prospect of maybe waking up one morning and feeling like I need that makes me terrified to remove buprenorphine from my regimen. And this is, it's odd that you brought this up because I was already preparing today's video to talk about fear. Because yesterday, if you missed last night's show, Wednesdays with Niall and Tommy, shame on you, because it was a good one. But if you did miss it, at one point, Niall talked about the fear of quitting. If you're in the life and you're addicted and you're using, every day, sometimes the fear of quitting is worse than the quitting. And I know that, I abused a lot of drugs, but I'm more of an authority on opiates, obviously, and what it means to cut them out of your life than I am anything else. And it was a very, very, it was a very tough thing for me to overcome the fear of it. Honestly, the withdrawals and all of the things that people associate with getting off of this trash was so much easier on me than the fear of what it was going to be like to try to live without it. That fear was overwhelming, and I probably do a disservice. And I think this is something that happens to everybody in recovery. The longer you are away from those first few days or those first few weeks or those first few hours of sobriety, the smaller that those things get in the rearview mirror. And it gets to a point where basically it's all but forgotten just how damn ugly it was to go through that. And, then I start to talk to people and we talk to people every day talking, with our fingers. But we talk to people every day who are getting ready to take the plunge. And when that fear is so far removed from your day-to-day life that you no longer can really pick it up in the rearview mirror, you're doing a disservice. And I want everybody to listen, who's listening. If you're getting ready to take the plunge, if you're getting ready to start this process of removing chemicals from your life so you can get to the base camp of life, so that you can get to the starting line, so to speak. I remember that fear. I really do. And I've spent the last 24 hours since doing the video with Niall, really specifically trying to remember that fear, trying to concentrate on what that was like. And, I've told the story many times. I got stabbed, and I was put into a different type of solitary confinement. Normally when one thinks of solitary confinement in prison, you get thrown in the hole. And well, every day guys go up and down the hall, right? Porters or whatever you want to call them, in-house workers, and they're running the broom, and they face forward for the purpose of the camera. And they go by and they say, you got any messages for so-and-so? And it's usually one of those situations where you can say, yeah, tell the white boys that I'm back here, and that, I need dope, put it on my tab. I'll get this thing squared away. And usually being in the shoe doesn't mean that you're going to have to be sick. I was put into a area that I was on a do not contact. I refused to tell them what race stabbed me. So they wanted to make sure that nobody could get near me for me to, tell anybody. They didn't want the yard finding out. They didn't want a riot happening. So I was on this really serious, no one was getting anywhere near my cell kind of a situation. And once they told me that, once I realized that the hallway that I was in, the only contact that I was going to have with anybody was with an officer, the level of fear that started to come in, once the realization. And I remember saying to the guy, well, how long are we going to do this? Like when can I start going back out to yard or do anything else? And he said, the investigation should take 30 to 90 days. And it was, that's not what I heard. What I heard was, you don't have a shot at getting any drugs for the next 30 to 90 days. And by the time he said this, I was already starting to get sick. And I remember going in there and hearing that door slam, and they took the handcuffs off, and that level of fear. I've been through some stuff in my life. I've been on yards where I knew there was somebody out there with a knife coming to get me. But this was a completely different kind of fear. It was a kind of fear that, there was a I was resigned to the fact that this is what was going to happen. There was no other way around it. I don't care how creative I got. I didn't care what I could do. This was it. And people, I think that a lot of you are in the exact same situation. The only difference is that this is a situation that you created on your own, but there's nothing you could do about it. You're there. If you're to one of those places in life where you realize that the road that you're on is going to lead you to death, right? Or maybe worse. I know that's probably sounds crazy, but there are worse things than death. And, the loss of every single person you care about, for a lot of people, that's reality. You keep drugging, you keep getting loaded, you keep doing whatever it is you're going to do, and you're going to burn every single bridge in your life. You're truthfully in no different a situation than I was in. And that fear that this is what has to happen is real, and it's palpable. And you know what? You got to address it truthfully. The saddest thing about this, and Niall hammered it yesterday, it's the reason that I spent all night thinking about it. He really nailed it, because once that fear begins to grip you, the first thing that your brain does is think, I got to make this go away, right? I got to turn this fear off. This feels awful. This is the worst feeling in the entire world. I got to face this, and it's terrifying and it's scary. And you know what would make this go away? Drugs, booze, crack, heroin, whatever your poison is. And it becomes this circle, this never ending chasing the tail. I'm scared that I got to quit. I think I'll do some dope so I don't have to think about being scared that I got to quit. I think I'll do a little more dope so I don't have to think about. And people, if this hasn't sunk in yet, if this isn't something that has occurred to you, you're going to wake up and you're going to go, man, I really got to quit this, man. This is out of control. I've lost this person, and that person doesn't talk to me anymore. And, I'm 3 ex-wives into it, or whatever the case may be. And it's going to be 10 years later than it is right now. You're going to be waking up in 2032, and it isn't going to be any different than it is tomorrow morning. The only difference is going to be that you want to go back to the life that you had, any semblance of the life that you had, and you're going to be foraging through every single river that you come across in your journey, because there won't be a bridge left to cross. That's the reality of what this dope and this booze and this addictive life means. It means the destruction of every single bridge in your life. Your best bet, people, is to face your fear. Honestly. And I promise you that the fear is worse than the reality. The reality of, I'm going to feel sick. It's going to be hard. I'm going to be shaking and I'm going to be going, all of that is over in a very short period of time. Now, does it feel like a short period of time when you're doing it? Of course not. Of course not. I don't think I slept 2 hours straight for the first 60 days I was sober. Truthfully, I was in living hell, and I was all alone. It was me, 4 concrete walls, God, and a Bible. And you know what? Thank the Lord it was. For real. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And by day 3, people that, I don't know how much I ever went through this entire story, but they figured out who stabbed me. They were able to pull some video, and they were, I'm sure they got a rat or two that probably told them what happened, but they had figured out exactly, who stuck me. And they did it far before that 90 days. So about 26 or 27 days after I got in there, I had a shot of leaving my little cage and going outside to the rec yards. Now, you're still inside a cage. It basically was a very large dog kennel, but you're right next to someone else who's in a very large dog kennel, who's right next to someone else who's in a very large dog kennel. And dope gets passed through the fences, and all of those things happened. But it was a very funny thing, because after a little more than 3 weeks of being sober and going through that, I knew all I had to do was walk up to the guy in the cage next to me and say, "Hey, ask so-and-so down there to send me," what they call a paper in prison. The stuff would come in a small little fold. They refer to them as papers. It would be a 50 paper or 100 paper, whatever the case may be. But for the first time in my life, the fear was not of living without dope. The fear was of going back. All of a sudden, I had been through the ringer for the, who knows, 1,000th time in my life. I had gotten through the sickness and all of that. But for the first time ever, I was more afraid of being the guy that I was when that crap started. That's what really, that's where I found myself. Oh, did you guys happen to see that? The cat just jumped right on top of me. Hey, yeah, get in that basket, squirrel. Yeah. So the truth is that one of the biggest things that you got to overcome, if you have any intention at all if you have any intention at all of making this work, you're going to have to face this fear. And the best piece of advice that I can give, and every situation is different, and every person has to, sort of fight this fight on their own. But the best piece of advice that I can give you is just the same piece of advice I give on everything else. And that is, if you sit and you bottle that fear up inside you, you're going to be in one of these. And I promise you're going to be in it fast. If you're getting ready to take that plunge, if you find yourself today listening to the Lifeboat, this is the first time you've been here, or you've been here getting drunk for the last 3 months, or whatever your story is, if you're to the point right now where you're ready to put down your drug of choice, or put down your bottle, or whatever it is, and you're scared crapless about it, open up your mouth or use your hands and type up there, tell people I'm scared, and watch what happens. Watch what it feels like when you find out that every single person walking around today, getting up in the morning and saying, "Thank God Almighty, I am free," went through exactly what you're feeling right now. You're not the Lone Ranger. You're not the only person that has ever endured this. In fact, every single person that has ever set down their drug of choice went through this. And people, as crazy as this might sound, sometimes just knowing that everybody went through the exact same thing is enough to bolster the courage and to bolster the resolve, so that you can say, "I'm done. I'm done." it comes back again and again and again to communication. You could beat this to death. I could just do the communication channel. We could come here 365 days a year. I could sit in front of this microphone and I could talk to you about how important it is to tell some other addict exactly what you're feeling, because that's it. The rest of it, I mean, it's semantics and it's verbal gymnastics and it's all kinds of things so that we try to remain interesting and we try to keep people coming back and we try to do, but it boils down to this. There's a reason that people get sober in groups. There's a reason that works. There's a reason that two alcoholics figured out what, decade upon decade upon decade of really learned and really educational people couldn't seem to believe, that this crap can be beat. They honestly believed that once you got to that addiction stage, it was this one here. That's it. They're a write-off. They are. And that has permeated society since the 1920s when they used to write it in the physician's desk reference. Society still treats us that way. The reason that the lifeboat is growing, the reason that the number of views are growing, the fact is that we're successful here because everybody here understands exactly what the next guy through the door is going through. We don't need an explanation. We don't need your story. We all have one, and really the only things that changes are the names of the places and the people, but it's always the same story, isn't it? I started around and I was just farting around and I was getting high or I was getting drunk, and you know what? It was so much fun. And me and a few friends would get together and we'd get wasted. And the next thing you know, I wasn't just doing it on weekends. I was doing it 7 days a week. And then that continued and I started spending more and more money on it. And that started to cost me jobs. And then the next thing you know, I was borrowing money or stealing money or doing whatever. Same damn story, right? And when you start to tell people what's going on in your life, you're going to realize that, you know what? You're not defective. You're not. Bottom line, you made a couple of bad mistakes. And those bad mistakes can get a hold of you. And then the next thing you know, you've got a substance in your body that's writing checks that you got to cash, whether you want to or not. And sometimes that means, that you're lying to family members. And sometimes it means that you're stealing from people at work. Or sometimes it means you're standing at the door of a Wells Fargo and saying, screw it, I'm going in and getting this money. But regardless of how far down that rabbit hole you get, it always starts coming back to the exact same thing. I got so deep in that the fear of quitting was stronger than anything else in the life, right? That fear of what it's gonna be like if I actually set this stuff down. People, I've never, and I've been doing this a minute, I have never come across somebody, and I'm going to use the term, and if I offend anybody in here, look, I'm talking about myself, but I've never come across a junkie that said, man, I love this. I really do. I love being addicted to this stuff. It's awesome. I've never met a guy in my life, never met a gal in my life who didn't have a plan, right? While they're putting it in the spoon and cooking it, they'll say to you, in 2 months, this is about to happen. And at that point, I'm setting this stuff down. Or, I'm only going to do this until, the beginning of summer, because then I have a roofing job. And when summer comes around, I'm going to quit this and I'm going to go to work. And you know what, people? 5 years later, they'll be telling you the exact same plan. 10 years later, they'll be telling you the exact same plan. And we just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And you know how we talk about the malfunctioning reward center of the brain, right? We talk about it all the damn time. I'm sure you get sick of me hearing it, me talking about it. But what it boils down to, and this is a stone cold fact, is that if you were to ever look inside the brain, every time you do something, a small little hair, right, gets laid from one place to another. It's like a cable that from the reward center to exactly what you're doing inside there, you're laying cable. And after 5 years of doing it, you got a rope, right? That hair, that thin as, 1,000 times thinner than a human hair, is all of a sudden looking like it's 2.5 inches across, and you are reinforcing this behavior. not only do you got to pump the brakes and just face the fear, but you got to start laying cable to a different spot of the brain. That's why we talk about finding your passion. That's why we talk about all of the things that we beat to death. Because as we said, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's story is different. But it always comes back to the same thing, right? It always comes back to the same thing. And that same thing is you're not going to get any better until you remove the chemical from your life. At that point, you can start to put things together. At that point, you can start making plans. At that point, you can start, you're at base camp. But until you remove that chemical from your life, you're going to live on crap street. I mean, there's no other way around it. And the really incredible thing, people, is it's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of what it's going to feel like to live life without something that we have had for so long. And it's, we sit and we build it up and we build it up because there's this unknown is just out there and it's ready to get us. I got an idea, right? If that's where you're at, forget the unknown. Seriously, take 5 minutes and forget the unknown and concentrate on the freaking known. Concentrate on what it is that you're living right now. Concentrate on what you know because you have been doing it for a really long time. And then look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love this. Look at your reflection, staring back at you and say, I love being addicted to this stuff. And tell me how ridiculous you look and feel saying that. Because there's no chance you're happy in this life. Here's the bottom line. If you've been coming here for a long time, I'm not that entertaining, people. You know what I mean? I'm not funny enough. I'm not articulate enough. None of that. If you're coming here time and time again, you know why you're coming here? Because you absolutely know. You absolutely know that the life you're living sucks. You're coming here, some of you, 4, 5, 6 times a week to listen to a guy talk to you about sobriety while you're using. You already know exactly what it is you need to know. Now it's a matter of saying, this is it. You know, as crazy as it sounds, people, every single thing, every great sobriety story in the entire world starts the exact same way. You realize that. If there's 500 million sobriety stories, every one of them starts with, and then I stopped. That's it. That's how every single, and then they start getting entertaining, right? That's when they start getting entertaining. I just told her I am not worth fighting for. You know what, guy? You know how close I am to making an exception on the cursing rule right now. That's bovine excrement. I have never met an addict that wasn't worth fighting for. Ever. Inside of every addict is an incredible human being yearning to get out. It's the truth. If it wasn't the truth, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. I promise you, people, it's not for the big bucks. Right? The reason that Mark and I come here every single day and we do what we do is because inside every single addict is an incredible person and an incredible story that is just waiting to be told. And you know what? We're going to lose way more than we win. But when we win one, when you see somebody escape from that hell, you know, I have spent, and I know there are a lot of people here on the lifeboat today, cats I know enough about, who have been incarcerated, right? They've had their freedom taken away and they've been locked up. And you know something, people? I'd rather be locked up and sober than free and on heroin. If that doesn't sum up exactly what life is like when you're addicted, because that's prison. That, hands down, is the worst prison in the entire world. Getting up every day and being on that damn treadmill, knowing that the second the sun comes up, you got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it into your arm or you're going to be sick, or you got to get it and you got to drink it, or you got to. I stopped at the gas station today and didn't get alcohol first night. That is the coolest thing. That's what I'm talking about. Well done, my friend. You know what? Again, another great story waiting to happen. because that's how it starts. Every single one of them. You know what? This is the first time. That's it. I said, no. People, you're going to lay a new cable, and then you're going to start gaining momentum. And then one day you're going to come here to the boat and you're going to type into the comment section and you're going to write, I swear to God, I'm happy. I swear to God, I'm happy. I sat down with a counselor today and she said, so it's been a long time. How's life? And I said, I don't deserve for life to be as good as it is right now. For real. With everything that I've been through, I am in a place right now, people, where I love my life. And that's just not something that I ever thought I would be able to say out loud. I got locked up. I was sentenced to 6.5 years for bong water. My God. I was released pending appeal after 8.5 months. Wow. For bong water. That is absolutely ridiculous. It really is. So, but here's the thing, Guy. Then you know what it's like to hear that door slam. And there's no chance that you can sit here and tell me that having a substance that owns you is better than that. Honestly, there's nothing worse than there's nothing worse than a cell that you create yourself. There's nothing worse than a prison that all you got to do is walk out the front door, but you can't bring yourself to do it. That's hell. And there's not a person on this boat that doesn't know what that hell is. For real. One of the most unique things about the lifeboat is we don't have to make you understand, because you do, right? The next person that walks onto the deck of this boat, we all know their story. The only part we don't know are the names and the places, but it's the same damn story. And you know what's funny, people? And I don't mean funny, ha ha. I mean funny as in no matter where we go, right? We've got people on the boat from, I don't know what we're up to, 26 countries, something like that. It does not matter what country they come from. It's the same story. It's the same experiences for every single person on the planet. When the substance owns you, the substance owns you. And I honestly, for the longest period of time, I kind of thought it was just an American thing. Thanks, everybody. Got to get up and at 3. So good night. Jason, come back here tomorrow night and tell us it's the second night that you stopped at a gas station and didn't get booze. Come back tomorrow night and say it's the second night, because you're gonna start gaining momentum. I promise you. And life gets better. People, the takeaway is that life gets better. The only thing that stops that from happening is your substance of abuse. Honestly. And I'll tell you something. So often as addicts, we get to a point where we can't believe, right, that things could get any worse. We think, you know what? It might not be great when I'm sober, but this sucks so bad that I'm just going to set it down. When I quit, I didn't think I was ever going to be happy. I really didn't. I just didn't want to be dead. And I didn't want to let down some people in my life that stood by me through so much stuff that they really probably should have just run away from me. But in the beginning, it was really about not wanting to let down the people that loved me. But I didn't believe I was going to be happy. I didn't. I feared that for the rest of my life, all I was going to think about was getting high, and I wasn't going to do it. And I'm here to tell you right now that that's not the case. I'm also here to tell you days you think about it. But the longer that you're sober, the less of those days there are. The more tools you get by becoming an active participant in your own sobriety, right? Don't set the bottle down and then take off and come and see us again in 2 years when you relapse, right? If it's not us, go somewhere else, but get around other people who are in recovery and discuss recovery. I got a great idea. That little rectangular thing that's in your hands for about 15 hours every day anyway. Google some stuff about what it means to be addicted and read about it. You know, you spent 3/4 of your life getting high. Spend an hour and a half reading about sobriety. Take an active role participating in your own sobriety and watch what happens. Everybody hear Niall last night say, man, I read everything I can read about this. Do you think he's just, an intellect that wants to know all of these things? Then you don't know Niall well enough. He's a guy that doesn't want to come back. That's really what it boils down to. And Niall knows that the more he understands this, the less a chance there is of him coming back. Another thing he said last night that I thought was magic was that when he starts feeling really crappy and he starts having one of those days, he'll go, this is my brain trying to get over on me. Okay? This is just my brain trying to drive me back to booze. People, if you're not taking an active role in your own sobriety, you'll buy into it. Those ants will start coming and you'll go, oh no. And you'll sit there and start going around in circles and just beating it and beating it and beating it and beating it. And the next thing you know, you're going to relapse. And I mean, really relapse. You're going to end up drinking, or you're going to end up smoking or shooting or whatever it is that you do. Take an active role. Derek N says the hardest part about getting locked up was the withdrawals. After the withdrawals, I felt like a new man. I got out and went back to the devil. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. You talk yourself into it, right, Derek? You say, there is no chance in hell I'm going to do it when I get out this time. Man, there is no chance. And I just saw Derek N say to the guy, you want to call me, dude? By the way, Niall said he'd love to talk to you. I'll shoot you all his contact information the second this show is over. Talk to Niall. Talk to Derek N. Don't come back in 3 weeks and say, man, I just can't seem to get it. You want to know how to get clean? There are guys reaching out right now to tell you how to get clean. And I'm not trying to bum you out. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Anything else. I'm not. But this is what we do, right? This is group. And a guy called me. Go ahead.
Part of it's what we do, guys, is accountability. And that's
and at 2:00 in the morning, my time, I got a text message from a guy who lives about 16,000 miles away from you, who asked me to pray for you. There are people all over this boat who love you.
Yep.
And you know why they love you? Because they look at you and they see the same trapped individual that they used to be. You ever wonder why people, you got guys that don't even know you here and they're saying, I love you. Oh, we know you.
Mm-hmm.
Trust and believe we know you. The reason that addicts tend to love one another is because we do know. We know exactly what you're going through. We know exactly where you've been, and we know where you can be. We know where this story ends if you take the correct path. This story ends in amazing things. Alan Ballantyne, right? Yeah. All of the cash. If you haven't heard his story, please go back and listen to it, right? We interviewed him. Go listen to it. The amount of money that he blew on meth. I mean, you could buy a Ferrari for what he went through. But when he was done, he was not being rude. I'm telling you his way, right? He was fat. He was out of shape, and he was working on killing himself with booze and with food. And since then, he's got a new relationship with God. He's reached out and made all of these new friends. He's lost about an entire human being's worth of weight. By the way, he has hit his target of 190 pounds. And I said to him, good Lord. I mean, I think that's about 130 or 140 pounds that he's lost. And I said, boy, Alan is the real deal, folks. There's no question he is the real deal. And I said to him, well, what's next? Have you got another goal? He goes, I'd like to see what 185 looks like. And what it really boils down to is that he's just going to keep setting the bar. And when he gets to a place where I said, if 185 is too thin, he said, then I'll go back to 190 and I'll maintain it. But he's constantly looking forward.
That's what you said the other week, remember? We're either moving forward or we're moving back. We're not staying in the same spot. You got to be moving.
Story. You got to be setting goals and working and moving forward. And you know what, people? Guess what happens? You can become addicted to that. You can become addicted to hitting the next goal. You can become addicted to hitting the next target. And once you start having all of those things happen, once you have all of those success start to snowball, then a really crazy thing will happen. You're going to be somewhere and they're going to say, so how have you been? And you're going to say, I've never been this happy in my entire life. I swear to you, people, listening to that come out of my mouth, I was like, holy Lord, I've never been this happy before in my life.
Yep.
And I have spent, I'm not being funny, a couple of $1 million on substances that I flooded into my bloodstream trying to make me happy. I tried them all. One of them I tried 6 or 7 times a day for 30 years. And the amazing thing is that uh, I found the happiness that I was chasing my entire life by hanging out with a group of people I've never been in the same room with and being brutally honest about the person that I used to be and brutally honest about the person that I want to be. It's takes a little more.
It's extremely freeing. It really is.
It is.
Once you get that out into the ether, guys, I mean believe it or not, that actually helps the fear.
It eliminates it.
It's like you start speaking it, and it's amazing when you actually verbally say it. It really does, and I don't know. It's like you're talking to yourself, and it's like Tommy said. We create our own jail. The worst jail you could ever be in is between your ears, and we all do that every day. And the fact that you're here is enough to let everybody know that you don't want to be in that place anymore. And that you're trying something. You wouldn't still be nobody would still be in this chat trying to talk about this at all if they weren't trying or didn't care at all. Obviously there's different levels of that, but at the same time, when you're here, you're here, and that's why we don't judge people, because we were judged so many times, and it does not feel good, and it does not work.
It doesn't benefit. I mean, there's never been a person who was better off because somebody broke them down. You're always better off when people build you up. Hey, LeBron Shoe Collector, thank you, my friend. That's a beautiful thing to say, and it's great to see you here on the boat. I love it when you stop by. Thank you, man. I appreciate the support. I really do. But Mark's right. One of the things, and it's a disease within the community. You see people get sober and they go one of two directions. One, they become the most loving people in the entire world. They become people who look at somebody in struggling with addiction and they think, you know what, there, but for the grace of God go I. And they reach out and they do everything within their power to help that person. And they bring the message of sobriety, or they go the other direction. And instantly they become that holier than thou addict. Now, why don't you just set that crap down? I did. You know what I mean? It's just weakness at this point. I've been sober for 5 years, or I've been sober for 7 years. You ever meet those people? And you think to yourself, wow, what a dick. Honestly, like, this is what you're doing with your sobriety? You're better off being in the life.
I've seen it multiple times with my parents. Oh. And when I say my parents, it's addiction, but it's not addiction to what we do, right? It was cigarettes. My mom would quit. My mom would quit, and it was like the worst thing that ever happened to anybody else in the world to smoke. And then she would start smoking again, and that'd all go away. So what I'm saying is that judgment didn't help my dad because I think a lot of it was when she did that, and I ain't blaming her, don't get me wrong here. What I'm saying is I think a lot of it is why he didn't try. It's because she was saying those kinds of things to him. And so what I'm saying is that that brings it down to anybody that can't really understand what a full-blown addiction is. If anybody's listening to us here, that can kind of put it into like quote unquote normal circumstances of somebody trying to quit a habit. And that really is exactly what it is. It's just at a heightened level. And society ends up being, I hate saying it like this because I love my mom to death, but society ends up being my mom in that situation. And they do. And that's something we're all fighting back against, and it is getting better. So the fear, guys, the fear, I don't think it's ever going to go completely away. I think it needs to be there at some level, like Tommy was saying earlier, guys. I mean, we got to remember it. If you remember that fear, you're not going to want to put yourself in that position again. At least it'll make you a little bit stronger in that aspect, at least in my opinion. But I can remember it too, Tommy, and I still remember it to this day. And like I said, guys, I'm into recovery almost 11 years now. And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't feel a little bit, I guess, not connected to that part as much. So I have to do exactly what Tommy was talking about. I have to, sit down and be like, hey, remember that, stupid, because you don't want to go back to that. because it is a tool that you can put in your belt and you can whip it out anytime you need it. And you know, you go down the road, somebody's having a good time doing their drug of choice or whatever, you see that, but then you don't see what they're doing in the background, and it causes you to romanticize about stuff that you used to do. And you got to get past that and go straight back to the stuff that's bad about it. And I'm here to tell you, there's a lot more bad than there is good. And I think that's probably why we're all here.
The guy, listen to this comment, everybody. He's talking about the fact that the girl that he was with, he says they may be an ex now, but we'll see about that. But he's talking about how the girl that he has been seeing, her daughter's father said he wants him X number of months sober before he can see the kid. Though I taught her how to fish and swim, 4 years old, light sober. But he said, I don't know how to deal with it. Here's the thing. The first thing you do when you don't know how to deal with something is exactly what you just did. You come to a group of people who have been there and done that, and you say, I don't know how to deal with this. So you're halfway home. People on this boat right now are reaching out to you and saying, you want to talk to me? The second part of this equation is you say to Derek N, or you say to Niall, or you say to any of these other people, hell yes, I want to talk to you, right? That's how this works. You reach out, you say what your problems are. Then they get on the horn and they talk you through them. And 90% of the time, the conversation is a lot of And you're going to find that their advice is going to be spot on. You probably caught the show when Niall was here and he talked about how you just sort of know what to say. There's something remarkable about people in recovery. Their advice is usually spot on. We're great at solving other people's problems because we created and lived through so many of our own. So you're doing fine. Come in here and telling us what's going on and how you're feeling. That's half the battle. But when somebody reaches out and says, I'm here for you, man, you take that. You hear me? You take that. There are people out here loving you and caring about you. If all you do is come here and share, brother, hey, you're halfway home, but you can spend the rest of your life halfway home.
Exactly.
It's not where you want to be. You want to be at the base camp. Reach out to Derek, right? Derek doesn't do Facebook. He doesn't do any of the social media crap. Screw it. Phone numbers work. He'll, figure this out. You guys can get together and figure out how this is going to work. If that isn't working for you, we'll figure out a way to put the two of you together. But this is a cat that understands sobriety.
Derek is a great guy. The guy.
There, absolutely no question. Derek is a guy that understands where you're at right now, and he's willing to talk to you about it. People, you remember how I said the boat has really sort of been transforming itself? I'm tearing up. Good. Yep. That's what's supposed to happen, and that's a true story, man. That is exactly what's supposed to happen. Those are the telescopes.
You're feeling the love.
You view God.
Yeah.
You hear me? Tears are how we look at God. It's the telescope that gives you a good glance at whatever you believe in, right? The things that are going to get you rolling. This is it. Guy's reaching out to you. Good guy. Take that. The guy, I'll give you my damn number right now, just to chat about life, man. I know how it feels. Look, there's a guy reaching out to you, brother. Tell you what, if the number goes up there, we'll delete it right after the show. When we go up live, I will get this number off so that everybody
Derek,
in the entire world won't.
Yeah, you can email it to us, and we can email it to the guy, or Tommy can give it to the guy. So,
you can send me an email to Captain Tommy Scoville at gmail.com, and I'll get it to him immediately. But I'll tell you something, guy, you're this damn close, right? You're this damn close. You've reached out to me. You've reached out to other people. You've come here. You've told us what's going on. You're this damn close. And we talked about how everybody is saying the boat is elevating, like we're getting to a better place. It's because of this. It's because we're no longer just in the talking phase. We're into the action phase, right? The boat and the people on it are, I will post in Facebook now.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Derek N., if you're not in the Facebook group, try to sign up for it right now, and I'll make sure you're in it before the clock strikes 2 minutes after the hour. I'm not sure if you're already in the Facebook group. If you're not, we'll get you in it. If you are, great, you'll see it over there. And you've got Miss V saying, I'll friend you after the live stream, Ryan. This is the boat working, people. This is why we're getting better. It was that big communication thing we were talking about the other night when I said the reason that this is getting better is because of communication. Michelle says, hello, first time here. How often do you have these meetings? 365 days a year.
Good to see you, Michelle.
Actually, sometimes more than that. We do at least one every single day. It is always at the same time. It goes up at 6 o'clock on the West Coast, right? So 6 o'clock every single night, 7 days a week, we will be here doing this. And so happy that you found the boat. Welcome, crew. Got a new visitor. Everybody can say hi to Michelle. Michelle, we're glad you're here. Truthfully, this is this is really a different place.
It is.
you came at a really good time.
Yeah, you just seen us doing what we do. Honestly, honestly,
you came in at a good time.
Yeah, and that's it, guys. And this is what me and Tommy's been telling you guys. This happens a lot in the back, a lot. Okay, not only do me and Tommy help people, guys. People will say, hey, I'd like to talk to that person, and we get you guys in touch with each other. And I'm telling you, being able to help your peer is just, my gosh, it's the best thing. It's the best feeling in the world. I swear. It really is. Not to mention that the person that needs the help is getting it, So yeah.
Yeah, truthfully. And, like I was saying the other night, why the boat seems to have evolved is not because of anything that that Mark and I are doing. It's that, like, Derek N right now. I mean, here's the exact thing that I was talking about. Derek stepping up to the plate, or Miss V stepping up to the plate, or Niall stepping up to the plate. There are so many people here that are reaching out to people that need help, and I couldn't tell you exactly when it started. I really couldn't. But there was a long period of time where we basically tried to reach out to as many of the thousands of people that are trying to get sober as we could and work with as many as possible. And these days, everybody seems to be, working with one another, and that's beautiful. And it's why people are getting sober.
Yeah. I tell you, and what she says, she found it through what I said on Wages World. Guys, I can't tell you how proud I am of just that. All the space weather stuff that I do or whatever, it means nothing compared to this stuff in my own mind. And I've said this before, if I could get everybody over here, it would just be the lifeboat for me. I promise you that. Not that I don't like space weather, because I do. It's a passion of mine. Matter of fact, me and Tommy was just talking about it before the show. But the fact is that I do know that we're helping people right now. I mean, it's like right here, these people need us now, and that's why we're doing it. And it's different. Okay, guys? So, yeah, I love the fact that you guys trust me enough to come over here and even give it a chance. So thank you for that. And, when I see people do that, it does make me feel good. So thank you.
Arizona Raven has a great comment. She says, Ryan, you're going to make it. I feel you trying so hard. Don't stop trying. You know what? I remember reading that comment. I don't know whether it was Arizona Raven that said it, but I remember reading that comment, except the only difference was it said Brandon. It said, Brandon, you're going to make it. Keep trying, right? I don't remember who said it, but I remember reading this exact same comment once out loud in the past. And Brandon needs 3 days to hit 3 months sober.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, Brandon. Well done, brother.
That's awesome stuff.
Awesome. It really is. It's awesome stuff. We're so proud of you. We're going to have to do something to celebrate the 3 month mark. But people, this is
Mark Pyers in the house
at its best. Mark Pyers.
Yeah, he's in there. What's up, brother?
We have the Renaissance man in the house.
Oh yeah.
People, if you've never gone over and checked out his show, you need to. It's literally amazing. Not only can the guy play instruments and do voices, but he is a one-man show that probably puts up more content than anybody on the planet. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
People, if you've never been in front of a camera and tried to do, say, 60 minutes or even 30 minutes where you just come on and you talk. This cat can do 3-hour shows and keep you laughing through the entire thing. His ability to do voices and
it's absolutely
amazing.
Yeah, and it's absolutely nothing negative. Know that, guys. It's all about positivity, and that's why we are all together here like this. Honestly,
it's an oasis for sure.
Yep, you'll never hear us send you guys to anybody that's doing anything negative. At least if we know it. Even if we think what they said in one video is good, we're not going to say it because it's just not worth it. So, just so you know that.
Good. unless by some chance you're a huge fan of Dr. Fauci, in which case you might
you might skip out on that one for a minute. At least those videos.
Yeah, Weasel Fauci might be too tough for you, but it's definitely worth going over there and checking out. I enjoy it every time I'm there. So. Hey, M. Hunt, good to see you, my brother. Glad that you're here. I'm a voice artist, by the way. I did not know that. Did you?
I didn't know that, no.
I did not know that. M. Hunt is a voice artist. You learn something new every day.
Pop over, my friend. That's what Mark has put in there. Heck yeah.
Mark says pop over, and you should.
Yeah.
You should definitely go check. I had no idea you were a...
you two could put something together. Probably really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know. That's my profession, voiceovers for animation and for commercials. How damn cool is that?
That's really cool.
M. Hunt, I love it. I knew we had talent here.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Tommy and Wages, for the kind words. You know what? Bottom of the heart, really.
Yes, exactly.
As a rule of thumb, you could count on 2 or 3 fingers the number of shows that I've ever recommended that somebody go and check out. I don't do those. And the reason I don't is they always come back on you. You know what I mean? Like you send somebody over and they hear 4 F-bombs or they hear something that is just, and it's a reflection of who I am if I say that. You're not going to ever hear anything negative over there. You're not going to get bombarded with foul language or anything like that. I would let my kids watch it. So I have no problem at ever. So that's just from the heart, Mark. Yeah, it's true.
We turn it on, just walk out the room, let our kids watch it. You can't say that about hardly anybody else, guys. So
no, you really can't. Not in this day and age. It's just there's so much foul out there that it's nice that there is a few.
Lady Fiona's in here.
Perfect Niles.
Perfect Niles.
Yeah, I think I'd like to hear that. Honestly, we'll have to set something up. I'd love to hear you do some voices. Ooh, I've never sworn in chat. No, the guy, you get a pass. You're good. All right, people, we are. I'm a potty mouth. We'll let it slide. How's that? Well, we're at the top of the hour, people. We will be back tomorrow night, same bat time. Same bat channel. By the way, Mark says 1,179 days in a row. Can you wrap your hand around that?
That's crazy.
I mean, your brain around that? 1,179 days. That is dedication right there. That really is. Hey, Fi, good to see you, Lady Fiona. People, we will be back tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be doing the same bat thing. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody. And you know what? Bring them here. We'll help. I am Captain Tommy Scovel, and on the other side of the glass,
Mark Wages.
And Squirrel's mad at me. I threw her out after she started doing the twang thing on the door. Good night, everybody. We love you.